Well, here's a real test. Over a month. Fuel on. Choke out. Nice. Well, let's pull over and take a quick look at the beast. You saw that, I've had it on a battery tender one time, probably in a month and a half. She fired right up. Everything's hanging in there. Anyway, let's head off to work on the Himalayan Enduro. How you guys doing this morning? I had a company meeting this morning. Got online, showed up for it. It was canceled 5 minutes before. Yay. Anyway, heading off to work now. It's hopefully the Purple Panda mic's doing its job and this wind blast isn't too bad. It's been wow, over a month since I've ridden this bike, and she feels better than ever. It was just a perfect motorcycle, holy cow. I mentioned on the Facebook group that I dug her out of the corner last night and dusted her off, checked the air in the tires, checked the oil, all the good stuff once over before I headed off to work this morning. Like I said, as I said earlier, it's been sitting for maybe a month and a half. Idle's a little low, it's not fully warmed up. Anyway, yeah, sitting for a month and a half. Been on the battery tender one time about 2 weeks ago. The front tire, and I think I've noticed this trend with 21 inch because there's such a small capacity as far as the air. The front tire was about 5 psi low. I think that's the first time I've had to add air to this bar tubeless system since I installed these EO7 Plus Dakar and Dakar tires. Have a Dakar on the front, EO7 Plus in the back. So got to keep an eye on that. I doubt there's a leak. Bikes tend to, for some reason, lose a little air when they sit. At the same time, you know, over the weekend I dug out the KLXs, and all 4 tubed rims on those bikes were quite a bit low. I was surprised. Of course, they've been sitting for equal amount of time. We haven't been dirt bike riding in quite some time. Probably actually much longer than a month and a half. But on both those bikes, the 21s in the front had lost more air than the rears. Don't know why. I have to say this bike is that much more enjoyable being 40 pounds lighter. Even just moving it around the garage. Holy cow, what a difference. Of course, I'm probably getting a little stronger moving the GS around the garage, but of all the bikes I've had, I think the Africa Twin was probably the most difficult to move around the garage. You always felt like you're gonna drop that thing, even though it on paper it's probably 10, 20, maybe 30 pounds lighter than the GS. Moving it around in the garage, it felt 100 pounds heavier. I always felt like I was going to drop that bike just moving it around. It's back in the garage right now. My son rode out for Father's Day weekend and we went for a ride. And he left the bike last night. Rode home with his wife. Well, one thing I can say, I sure wish I had tires this good on the GS. The tires they put on that bike that are considered the off-road tires are the Metzler Karoo 3s. And they're decent off-road tires, but holy cow, they suck on pavement. They're so bad. They're the worst tire I've ever ridden on pavement, bar none. They have that, both the front and the back have that squirrely feeling like you get flats. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. The things just wobble all over the place on uneven pavement or grooved pavement, and tar snakes and all that good stuff. There's one of my GS videos that I recorded recently. You can see in a section when I'm on a grooved piece of pavement up in those mountains right there, you can literally see the front end dancing around. I mean, the windshield's like doing this, like kind of not really unnerving, but not very confidence inspiring, that's for sure. Anyway, those tires are coming off next weekend. I made it to 2,500 miles on those tires. Yep, they're going in the garbage. There's no point in riding a really nice bike with crappy tires on it. What a fun little bike this is. Holy cow. I almost forgot. I don't even know what we can talk about on this bike. Everything's been talked about. We got the bar tubeless wheels installed with Mitas Dakar and EO7 Plus on the back. Racetech front springs and emulators, along with fork tube extensions to allow me to drop the forks a little bit. On the back we got Hagen rear shock. We've got a DeKalbic full exhaust system. Engine's basically completely stock, other than the carburetor conversion, which has been absolutely flawless for over 3,000 miles. Oh, on the front, while we're talking about the suspension, I do have the Harley-Davidson front brake caliper on this. Stock master cylinder. EVC HH pads on the front. Stock pads on the rear. Stock caliper on the rear. All the metal bracketry on the bike's been removed. Rear luggage rack, rear pannier racks, the racks that are on the sides of the gas tank, and the bracketry for that. The bracketry that was holding the instrument cluster in place. I replaced it all with plastic 3D printed stuff. Holding up so good so far. Of course, without a rear luggage rack, and I don't have my saddlebags on here. I'm wearing my Climb backpack today. Climb, however you want to call it. What do you guys? How do you guys pronounce the KLIM brand? Climb? I don't know. So I got my laptop, my lunch, and a bunch of other stuff in the backpack. My inReach on my chest. I think most of the weight in the backpack right now is I still have water in it from a Disneyland trip, so probably got 1.5 liters of water in the bag. I think it holds 2 liters. It holds a lot of water. You know, I think you know how the KLR 650 has kind of a huge cult following. I think this bike, well, unfortunately they're going to change this bike next year, I believe, 2024. I think this bike would have ended up the same way. It's a good bike. It has, you know, some issues, but nothing that can't be worked through. It treats a lot of people well, with a random person here and there having issues with, I don't know, various things. Fuel injection for the most part, with it idling or running correctly, or not running, or not starting, or what have you. I think that's ironed out with the new fuel injection that's on the Scram, and I think that's the same fuel injection that's coming on the 2023 Himalayan now, so those issues should be gone. Also, if you have a 21, I believe, maybe, yeah, 2021 and 2022, which that's this. If you have a cold start issue and your bike stalls after it's warmed up, or stalls while it's warming up, contact your dealer, because they can reflash your ECU and fix that, completely fix it. There's a lot of fixes, obviously, that a person can do. They can play with the TPS, the idle speed, all that stuff. But you know, why? Just go take your bike to your dealer, have your ECU reflash, and the problem is solved. 100%. Because today I'm wearing jeans and it's a little chilly. I don't normally like wearing jeans. It's been hot though. Or just jeans anyway. I kind of like the knee protection that my riding pants offer. Yeah, and these aren't even riding jeans. These are just straight up Levi's. So, not even good for one bounce. And this little bike just tools along. She's a good one. I love it. What an awesome machine. Purring along like a kitten. Never missing a beat. I'm one of the lucky guys who's had no problems with the bike. I actually had my fuel injection running pretty good before I took it off. I just wanted to do something different. Actually, initially, you know, I wanted to do a big bore kit and a cam, and that was one of the reasons for going to the carburetor, that I'd have complete controlling over the fueling. But I've seen enough big bore kit failures that, yeah, we're not going to do that. Not only that, it's not very cost effective. Big bore kit for this bike is really expensive compared to a normal big bore kit for a single cylinder bike. I mean, I think I can get almost a 400cc big bore kit for my KLX for a little more than half of what the big bore kit for this bike costs. Big bore kit for the my wife's KLX 140 was only like, I want to say it was like $135, and that's a cylinder, piston, and ring. know, one thing I wanted to talk about was in looking at tires. You know, I've been doing a lot of reviews on, or not doing reviews, watching reviews, sorry, and reading reviews. And the one thing, it doesn't really bug me, but it's kind of funny that, you know, you've got like Anarchy Wild tires, you've got those Karoo 4s that replace the Karoo 3s, which suck. I mean, you got all kinds, TKC 80s, all kinds of European brands. You know, you got Michelin, Pirelli, and Continental, Metzler. And, you know, those are all premium high-dollar tires, right? And then so a person will do a review and compare a TKC 80 to a Shinko 804, 805 combo. And they always go back to, you know, for the money, it's a great tire. But no, just put the money aside for a second. Just because those premium tires cost more money doesn't mean they're good. Those Karoos are over $200 a piece front and rear, and they're shit. I'm sorry, but they are. A tire, if it's a 50-50 tire or whatever, if it's an on-road or off-road tire, it's got to be okay on both, right? It's got to be an okay dirt tire and an okay street tire, or it fails. That's a fail. You can't be, you know, superior on one and complete crap on the other. Your tire's garbage at that point, because that defeats, sorry, the whole purpose of the dual purpose tire. It's not dual purpose at that point. It's a dirt tire. But anyway, back to, you know, they always, for budget friendly or economic solution or whatever, you know, go with the Shinko. No, actually go with the Shinko because it's a better freaking tire. It has nothing to do with how much it costs. Good Lord. Anyway, that's my rant for the morning. But I might try 804, 805 set on here. My only concern was the big block tire and the 21-inch size. Being a 90/90, I wondered, are you kind of defeating the purpose? Because you don't really have a whole lot of room for big blocks in the front, but the people that have tried it, they have no complaints. They say it works well. So my big deal is loose gravel and sand, right? I'm gonna need that. We have a crap ton of that in California off-road, so I'm gonna need a tire that works well in that. Not so much mud. We do have mud when it rains, but we don't get a lot of rain, so finding mud is not that easy.